Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the beginning of the Pokemon Draft Premier League Week 11 stream. On the left side of the screen, you can see what the current standings are heading into the week, and we have an exciting night of action that will determine playoff seedings, playoff matchups, and who makes the playoffs. But first things first, we have a little bit of sad news that we're going to have to cover at the beginning here. We have had two forfeits this week. Kortex has forfeited to Dan due to scheduling issues that resulted from the Milwaukee Regional. And Ryan has forfeited to Solanor due to a bad bout of COVID that left him unable to functionally look at a screen, much less play his match. So with that being said, the standings on the left have been adjusted as such, with Dan moving to 5-5 with a +2 differential, and Solanor moving to a 5-5 with a +1 differential. Kortex, on the other hand, has fallen to 4-6, -6, and has been eliminated in his long shot bid this week. What does this mean for a potential playoff race? Well, both Dan and Solanor are guaranteed better tiebreakers than the loser of Dina versus El Flamingo, and if ksniterider loses to Matt, they are guaranteed better tiebreakers than him as well. As for Goomer and Sakimoto, they will be competing for a playoff spot, but they have a much narrower path to walk. They both will need Matt to beat ksniterider, unless, in Sakimoto's case, he can end up with a 2-0 +6 or better and be ahead of Solanor. Dan has actually clinched a playoff spot with that forfeit. Goomer, on the other hand, to get into playoffs, will need to win, end up with a better differential than Sakimoto, and end up with a better tiebreaker than ksniterider that he needs to lose to Matt. So it's going to be a tougher task for him, but it is still possible. But with all that being said, we are really excited about this stream tonight, and we are going to be getting right into it. Instead of the matches where it's going to have playoff spots on the line, we're going to have something very different on the line for this first match. Up first, we are going to have Otto versus Anthony. If Otto wins this match, he will be guaranteed the second seed and a double bye in playoffs as opposed to a single bye. If he loses, he will only get a single bye. This match will also affect Snoot versus Tay, where the loser will actually fall to the third seed and only get a single bye if Otto wins. However, if Otto loses, that match will only be for seeding purposes, as they will finish 1-2 regardless and both be receiving a double bye. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and pan into that match. In our first match, we have Otto versus Anthony. As stated in the previous section, Otto versus Anthony is going to be for Otto's determination of whether he gets a 2-week bye or a single-week bye. So this is going to be an important match for him, not necessarily as much for Anthony. So let's go ahead and get into it. Looking at Otto's team as we have this from his perspective, we've got his Charmeleon making an appearance today, along with the Electivire, Entei, Meowstic, Bisharp, and Tornadus. So, looking at what Anthony brings with his Gengar, Venusaur, Charizard, Barraskewda, Ninetales, and Sableye, I was going to say the Meowstic looks very good, and Meowstic Charmeleon is actually going to be the lead. I'm quite curious to see what this Charmeleon set is, because I bet it's going to be a very, very interesting set, with the Tornadus and the Bisharp in the back, eschewing the Entei and the Electivire for this match, and they're both locked in and ready to go. So good luck, have fun to both participants, and let's go ahead and get into our first match for week 11 of the PvPL. I've just adjusted the volume a little bit. Sorry if that ends up being a little loud for half a second. So we've got the Barraskewda Sableye lead for Anthony up against the Charmeleon Meowstic lead for Otto. On paper, this looks pretty good for Anthony, as that Barraskewda does threaten the Charmeleon even with the Eviolite. But if he's able to get something like Will-O-Wisp onto it, then it's going to be solid. But we do see the Charm tech. Charm into Barraskewda is a very, very good move, especially if it ends up maxing. And he also has access to Quick Guard, Thunder Wave, and Psychic. This Meowstic set is actually fantastic against Sableye Barraskewda lead, and we do see the Barraskewda maxing. If this Charm goes off into the Barraskewda, Anthony could be in some trouble, as it's going to really neuter his damage output for his Dynamax in this game 1. But the Max Barraskewda next to Sableye could have access to something like Fake Out that would be really useful in this situation. And we see the Protect come out first from the Charmeleon. And we do see the Sableye go for the Fake Out into Meowstic. Okay, if this is a double up into the Meowstic, then Anthony could be in a great position for this Game 1. Max Geyser comes on out and connects with the Meowstic. Is it enough for the KO? Not even close. That Meowstic is going to have a substantial amount of bulk on it. But the rain is set as well. Meowstic will flinch. And now we will see exactly what this Meowstic is going to be able to do. We do see the Charm Will-O-Wisp double up into the Barraskewda. So he is looking, Otto is looking to really neuter the Barraskewda, limit its damage potential, and try to win this late game with a max of his own if he can survive this early Barraskewda max. The Charm will go off. Barraskewda's attack has been halved at this point. The Max Geyser comes out, and it is going to be able to pick up the KO into the Meowstic if it goes there because of the rain boost, even at -2. Which it successfully does. We'll see what this Sableye goes for. My money would be on something like a knockoff, and the Will-O-Wisp misses. This is not great, but that minus attack is still going to do a serviceable job. Charmeleon is probably still in Barraskewda range, as the Barraskewda is in range, but Bisharp is going to come on out, which is decidedly not in Barraskewda range currently. Oh, never mind. Bisharp will not be coming out. Tornadus will be coming out, which is going to be able to threaten with that max overgrowth, as it looks like it is the main max option this game. You could also very easily go for an Airstream into the Sableye if he feels okay ignoring this Barraskewda. We do see the Helping Hand come out, and are we going to see an Airstream or an overgrowth? We are going to be seeing, it looks like, the Airstream into the Sableye, which seems like a play that will give this Tornadus speed advantage if this Barraskewda is not Swift Swim, but this might be a Swift Swim Barraskewda, in which case this Will-O-Wisp play might make a bit more sense going into the Barraskewda. No, he does go for the Helping Hand. Otto's a little bit indecisive this turn, but going for the Airstream into the Sableye is just as reasonable as going for the Overgrowth into the Barraskewda, given that the Barraskewda is still at -2, even though it is in the rain. We got the Tornadus maxing, and it will be targeting that Sableye down. What will the Sableye be able to go for this turn? Got the Max Tornadus with 318 HP. For the uninitiated, Dynamax will double the HP of a Pokemon along with giving them special boosting moves. And we do see the Max Hailstorm coming out. So at -2, will this be able to do 50% to the Tornadus? No, it will do a little less than 25% to this Tornadus. And it will get rid of any rain boost. So at +1, this Tornadus will now be outspeeding the Barraskewda. This is a fantastic turn of events for Otto. The Sableye does survive due to what looks like a Focus Sash, yes. And Sableye is probably going to be going for another Foul Play this turn. Tornadus reveals the Life Orb there, and the Foul Play comes on out and deals a decent chunk of damage. Combined with Hail, though, it doesn't quite take it below 50%. So this Tornadus could survive a whole another turn of that damage output, and the Sableye goes down to Hail damage. At +1, the question is, will this Tornadus be outspeeding a Venusaur if that comes on out, and then the Barraskewda switches into a Fire type, into the Ninetales to set that sun? But we'll see what Anthony actually has in the back. If he doesn't have the Venusaur, we could be in for a very quick game one, but the Venusaur does come on out. So the real question is, at +1, will this Venusaur be able to get a Sleep Powder off if this Barraskewda switches into the Ninetales, or will it go down to this Airstream? Or does it potentially have Cobra Berry, which could be very useful? It looks like a very easy double up into that slot. And will he be going for the double up? He might be trying to call out a switch. Let's see, what do we have here? We have the Overheat, and then I'd actually consider a Helping Hand Airstream here, but Cobra Berry does feel pretty bad for it in that situation, but the Ninetales will come on out. And the sun gets set. Is this Venusaur going to be able to get a Sleep Powder off? No, it will go for the Protect. Okay, so that double up into the Venusaur. The Tornadus will now be definitely outspeeding it at +2. But it will not have to worry about this Overheat. Scarf Ninetales also is not going to be faster than the Tornadus at this point, but the question is, what will the Tornadus take down next turn, because the Sleep Powder and the fire moves off of his Ninetales are going to be threatening it at this point. And we do see that it is Solar Power Charmeleon. A very interesting tech, but it makes a lot of sense given the fire nature of Anthony's team. Max Airstream is going to be targeted into the Ninetales. Alright. Otto is definitely on the front foot this game, relying on this Tornadus to have the speed advantage. It will be getting up to +3 after this next Max Airstream, and it should be outspeeding every Venusaur and Ninetales possible as well. So this is looking like it's going to be Otto on the front foot for a good portion of this game. We do see the Airstream coming out. It will connect with the Ninetales and not quite pick up the KO. If he had Helping Handed, it likely would have picked up that KO onto Ninetales. That's probably a play I would have liked to see. And instead, Charmeleon will get an overheat off, but Venusaur avoids it and gets the Sludge Bomb off into the Tornadus, followed up by a likely Heat Wave. And that should be enough to pick up this Tornadus and do a big number on that Charmeleon as well. But Charmeleon at +3 Move Zone is faster than even that Chlorophyll Venusaur currently. It does take another big chunk from Solar Power, and now Otto is down to the Bisharp Charmeleon. Bisharp doesn't look like it has a great matchup here, but it could still have the speed advantage over this Venusaur and the Ninetales as well. Or it could have a speed advantage over the Ninetales. It will not have a speed advantage over the Venusaur as long as the sun is up, but Charmeleon will threaten Venusaur. He goes for the overheat again into the Venusaur. I would say that a Protect out of Venusaur would make a lot of sense here, and then targeting down of the Charmeleon with Ninetales to turn it into a Venusaur versus Bisharp endgame. But we'll see if this Ninetales is going to be able to survive a potential Sucker Punch this turn. Venusaur comes on out, and he's still got that Barraskewda in the back, which he is sending in as a sacrificial lamb. Ninetales will get a Protect off. And then Sucker Punch will fail, and this Overheat will go into Barraskewda. Will it be enough to pick it up? It will be not very effective, but it's Solar Power and in the sun, and it does pick up the Barraskewda. Charmeleon's special attack does also harshly fall, and he will take another turn of Solar Power damage. A Protect off of Venusaur should be enough to take out this Charmeleon without Venusaur going down, if this Ninetales is going to be able to pick up this Bisharp. But if Ninetales goes down to a Sucker Punch from this Bisharp and Charmeleon goes down with a Protect Venusaur, it's going to come down to, does this Venusaur 1 have Weather Ball? Or if not, will Earth Power be enough to pick up this Bisharp? We know from the team preview that this Bisharp, I believe, is Focus Sash. So this game should be Otto's, unless he does something horribly, horribly wrong here. But let's see what happens here. The Venusaur does Protect. That is a very obvious Protect. It will let the Charmeleon go down to Solar Power damage. And he goes for the double Protect but fails, but that will cause Sucker Punch to fail as well. Overheat does go into the Ninetales to take it out though. That was probably a very good play. Charmeleon will go down, Ninetales will also go down, and we get that one-on-one endgame where the Focus Sash is likely to be key in delivering this endgame for Otto. But we'll see if this Venusaur has Earth Power or Weather Ball. A Weather Ball is probably the correct play this turn. Unless for whatever reason, Otto's just going to be able to protect the Stall Stun and then potentially have the speed advantage. Which should just further cement this game for him. Venusaur does go for Earth Power. I don't know if that will be able to KO. I assume it does because Bisharp's special defense is not great. Its special bulk overall is lacking. We have Sucker Punch come on into the Venusaur, but Venusaur goes for the Protect this turn. Oh, Iron Head comes on in and goes straight into the Protect. So, from Anthony's point of view, an Earth Power is his only out here, and he has to hope it KOs, because an Iron Head from this range very likely takes it out. Earth Power comes on out, it will connect, but we know that this is a Focus Sash. So this Bisharp will hang on and be able to KO this Venusaur, which should be picking up Game 1 in favor of Otto. Well, that was quite an exciting Game 1, decided by exactly 1 HP and an item. But we stick around, guys, and I will be swinging right back into Game number 2. Otto is one game away from picking up a double bye as opposed to a single bye in the playoffs, which is going to be huge given the field of competitors that will be in the playoffs and the level of preparation that should be expected. So will he be able to pick up a second game off of Anthony's team? His game plan in Game 1 seemed very effective, but how can Anthony adjust to this game? The Meowstic lead with the Mental Herb continues to make a lot of sense, as Charm and Thunder Wave are both threatening moves against the Barraskewda. Late game Bisharp with the Focus Sash allowed him to play a very different style of endgame. But we did get the huge information that even out of Sun, the Venusaur is faster than the Bisharp. We are going to be seeing the Electivire lead, which didn't even come into Game 1, along with the Meowstic, which makes a lot of sense. We might be seeing this Entei with the Assault Vest. I'm very curious to see its sets as well. But no, we'll see Tornadus and Entei, yes, as well. No more Focus Sash and no more Charmeleon this game. Let's see if Otto is able to convert his current advantage into a double bye. Quality trainer cards for both of them, by the way. I know that everyone cares about my trainer card rankings. We've got Barraskewda and Sableye lead again, which is going to be very much, again, threatened by the Charm. I would not be maxing the Barraskewda here if I'm Anthony, because you're not going to be able to take out that Meowstic before it gives a Charm off. And he's going to be Scarf Locking into Electro Web. I don't know if Scarf Electivire is able to outspeed Barraskewda. No, not into Electro Web. But with this Thunder Wave, he definitely will be. I don't think Barraskewda can max here. I really don't think it can. Oh, and he might be going for Charm instead of Thunder Wave. He's very split between the two. Quick Guard is also a consideration, I believe. But no, he cannot match with the Barraskewda here. And the Venusaur comes on in, and it's going to eat this, I believe it was a Thunderbolt that was selected. But the Thunder Wave is still going to neuter the Chlorophyll node. It's not going to be double speed under the sun. It will be back to normal speed with a paralyzed chance. And he is Scarf Locked into Thunderbolt, which does a decent amount of damage to the Venusaur, all things considered. Foul Play comes on into the Meowstic, I assume, which will take it down to 137. He's Scarf Locked into this Thunderbolt. Does he want to save it for a Barraskewda late game, or does he just want to continue to put out damage? And he's going into the Sableye for some additional damage. And this Psychic into Venusaur is looking like it could be substantial, even with a max here. He's maxing the paralyzed Venusaur. Anthony is putting a lot on the line in this game too. He's trying to do his best to win this game, but man, this is a risky match with a paralyzed Venusaur. It is probably the only way to have something not take as huge amount of damage from this Psychic. And with the Sun, this Venusaur will be back up to normal speed as well. Thunderbolt comes on out into the Sableye, which will put it in range of another Thunderbolt. And then the Venusaur does get the Vine Lash off. That's going to be a lot of damage onto this Meowstic. In fact, Meowstic just goes down from the Vine Lash on the Venusaur. Anthony is looking to be in decent position here. Venusaur is at normal speed, just with Paralyzed chance, and the Vine Lash damage comes out onto Electivire. Electivire is going to be able to get another Thunderbolt off into the Sableye, unless the Sableye is packing Quash, in which case Electivire could get quashed, and then Venusaur could take it out. But this Tornadus is going to be the fastest thing on the field, and if Sableye is packing Quash, he's probably going to want to use it on this Tornadus if he's going to keep the Venusaur in. You might need to switch the Venusaur out if you're Anthony here, but you really just don't want anything to eat this type of max Airstream that this Venusaur is about to eat. For Anthony's sake, this thing better be running Cobra Berry, or this could be a very short match, which puts Otto into a double bye. Anthony is in a very tough position, and you can tell by how long he was in the tank on this move as well. He does send the Ninetales out, which will be able to eat this Thunderbolt, likely not incredibly well. And he keeps the Venusaur in. He better be going for a max guard here, hopefully, but even then, next turn, he is in rough shape still. This is looking to be Otto's game. He is firmly in the driver's seat at this point with this Tornadus and the paralyzed Venusaur. Because even the Barraskewda, once this Tornadus gets to +1, is going to be underspeeding this Tornadus. He does go for the max guard, so he is just going to stall a turn of max and let this Ninetales take a Thunderbolt. Can this Ninetales have more than 50% of its health left? Oh, it is looking like exactly 50% of its health left. If there was a way to get this Barraskewda in, then it would potentially have been an awesome play on behalf of Anthony, but there wasn't one. And now he is looking like he is in a rough position. This Venusaur will need to take out this Electivire and survive this Airstream. If it's Koba Berry, survives the Airstream and takes out the Electivire, and then this Ninetales is able to do major damage to this Tornadus, he will have a chance. However, if it is not Koba Berry and this Airstream takes it down, then this game is as good as Otto's, even at this early stage. We see the Thunderbolt coming out. Will he pick up the roll? He does not. The Ninetales survives. That is step one. Airstream, does it pick up the Venusaur? It does. That is not step two. That was not step two, ladies and gentlemen. That Venusaur going down is going to mean that Otto will have speed advantage for the rest of the game. Will this Ninetales be able to pick up anything with a Heat Wave here or a Flamethrower? The Heat Wave comes on out. It does not get a KO. Not even with the Vine Lash damage on the Electivire. Oh, Vine Lash damage does take out the Electivire. I miscounted earlier. Alright, so he's still got the Tornadus. He is still going to be in great shape, but we do have this Barraskewda in the back. I don't know exactly what it's going to be doing in this position, though, because we know that the Focus Sash is not going to be saving it here. Entei comes on out. And if I am Anthony, I am extreme speeding the Ninetales and overgrowthing the Barraskewda if I'm Otto here. And if I'm Anthony, I really don't know what the counterplay to this is. Airstream into the Barraskewda if Barraskewda survives could make this interesting. But extreme speed into the Barraskewda? Oh, he's going to be doubling up the Barraskewda. That will also make sense because the Ninetales will be free for right picking next turn. This Tornadus has to target into the Barraskewda. This is one of the few ways that Otto can lose this game if this Tornadus does not target Barraskewda. Alright, Barraskewda gets a Protect off. Extreme Speed goes into nothing. I still think Extreme Speed into Ninetales and Overgrowth Barraskewda was correct, but we know that he's going to be able to maintain speed advantage here. The only question is, will this Barraskewda be able to survive a, instead of a max overgrowth, just a, I believe the move was Grass Taunt. Barraskewda is very light, so it might be able to survive one, but man, Barraskewda is also very frail. Entei will take some chip. What is in the back here for Anthony? Does he have something that can take out Otto here? And it's the Sableye. It is not looking good. Even in this situation, with the sun up, this Barraskewda is threatened by the Tornadus at the very least. And now he's got the speed advantage on everything. Extreme speed into the Barraskewda makes a lot of sense. And a double up into Barraskewda knowing that it just protected should lock up this game for Otto. But he's going for the Protect. That's a very passive play on this turn. Maybe playing against the Quash and Ice Fang. He's playing against Fake Out. Okay, fair play, fair play. A double Extreme Speed should be enough here. Maybe not. Ice Fang does come out. Alright, so that Protect ended up being the correct play. So now we no longer have Protect, but if the Sableye has Quash, is able to quash the Tornadus and Barraskewda take it out, Entei fails to pick up the Barraskewda. Barraskewda might be able to threaten this Entei, and we could be in a position where Anthony can claw this game back. He needs Quash, though, to be able to claw this game back. If there's no Quash that comes out here, I don't really see how he can do it. And will this Grass not pick up at this range, or is Air Slash going to be the better option? Air Slash targets into the Sableye. The Barraskewda does protect, and Sableye is going to be going down here. This needed to be Quash out of Sableye. That was the only option. And even then it wouldn't have worked because of Extreme Speed's priority. Yeah, Otto had a hard lock on this game. So at this point, I'm very comfortable saying congratulations to Otto for locking up the second seed in the PDPL. You'll be receiving a double bye directly into the semifinals, and Snoot versus Tay is very much looking like the winner gets a double bye, whereas the loser will only be receiving a single bye. We'll just be seeing what picks up this final KO, whether it's the Entei or the Tornadus, and Otto will be winning this one 2-0. +3 to be moving clearly into second place. He will be locking that up by himself. So thank you guys so much for watching this first match, and at the conclusion, we'll be going right back into a little bit of post-match standings analysis before we talk about where we're going to be heading to next. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm just going to be passing it right on off to Dan. Thanks, Dan. So, with that win, Otto locks up the second seed, and that will put some renewed emphasis on Snoot and Tay's game later tonight, where the winner will be receiving the first seed, but the loser will drop to the third seed and only receive a single bye instead of a double bye. But looking at the bottom of the standings, we see a really tight race for playoffs, with Goomer currently the last person that is currently eligible for playoffs. So we're going to dive into his game against C-Rad with point of views from coaches switching in between each game to see where he will be ending up. To have a reasonable shot at playoffs, Goomer likely needs a 2-0 in this game, but a 2-1 will still leave him alive, if only barely. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into Goomer versus C-Rad. We'll be starting from C-Rad's perspective.
Okay, this is PDPL 11, last week of the regular season. Also my last week ever of the season, because I'm not making playoffs. It's okay. It's been a fun league, and I think I got a fun team built. Oops, I gotta register it. Alright, so we got oh, come on. AVS Kev, pretty standard Fungus. Got Scarfed Simeon. Have Special Coco. Have Standard Thievel. And we have an offensive Trick Room Jelson. I think this team's gonna be really fun. But if it flops, then it flops. There's really no drawback to this game for me. And okay, cool. So yeah, I kind of just like leading Lucas Jelson here. As Kev in the back. The question is, what do I want to clean up with? Do I want Coco or do I want Pissimian? I think I want Coco for this lead, because Guzzlord looks like it might be a problem. Well, both of these mons can deal with Guzzlord pretty handily. Coco might be a bit better at dealing with the Cresselia. I'll go Coco. We'll start Coco. If Coco doesn't work out, we can run it back with Simeon in the back. Good luck, have fun to Goomer. Hoping for a real nice, real fun last game. Some new talent for me. Fine with this. Actually, I'm not really fine with this. If this is like a bandits arena, I think I die. But if it's not, I'm pretty sure I live. Jelson is pretty bulky. Actually, I'm kind of okay with the turn 1 protect. Then a hard switch into SCAF. I don't think he'll go for a fire move. He could go for a fire move into the Jellicent, expecting an SCAF switch, which would actually be a pretty insane play by him. But I don't think that's super likely, especially when Fungus is here. Maybe the Rage Powder was just a little bit better there. Yeah. Oh no, it wouldn't have mattered. Okay. But we take this. We handily. Oh, okay, so we definitely live that. Now the problem is that you could just make the same play. Alright, I'm in a really bad spot. That lead's really strong against me. Oh, we are sashed, so we could just Spore here. Oh man, that's tough. Okay. I don't want SCAF to go down. Yeah, maybe it's just better for that to happen in this situation. We'll just try to X-Scissor that Dina. Yeah, there's not much I can do. Okay, this is fine. Safety goggles. Oh, sweet failed. Damn, okay. Yeah, we're in a pretty tough spot right now. Yeah, we're just gonna have to max Coco here and hope for the best. This game is not going the way I wanted it to. It's okay. We could protect Fungus here. Could just Tailwind me though. No. No, what I want to do here is I actually want to switch Jellicent. And I want to max. I will max strike into this arena. So we're in a pretty bad spot, but I don't think we're definitely not out of this yet. I think Coco might be able to claw me back. Yeah, Tailwind. This is fine though, because Coco should still be able to outspeed. Oh, it just does outspeed. Pretty dismal damage. White herb. Okay. What does he go into here? No matter what he goes into here, we're in a pretty nice spot with Johnson. We also have Fungus for a sack, if needed. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I really want a Water Spout, but I think Scald's probably a bit better. Depends on what he attacks into. Like, I feel like he could easily attack into Coco here. But this is also a really bad play if I get this wrong. I could also Trick Room. Which would actually put me in a pretty nice spot. And we can Starfall. Okay. Nice. I was gonna go Sash. I think this is where we sack Fungus. Yeah, this is where we sack Fungus. And we lightning into this Talonflame. Because he could easily just priority Brave Bird into my Jellicent and kill it, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, Fungus going down is fine. Talonflame should go down. Cool. I guess the issue now is Max Sarina. Okay, we avoid attack. That's good. Sarina. Each turn, 3 turns of 1 turn of Tailwind. Okay, that's pretty bad for me, actually. I think what I want to do here is try to actually get a burn on this Sarina, and then just stat Slink Lane. Sarina is just going to protect, that makes sense. So give it advantage in Trick Room. I should have Trick Roomed again. Ouch. Okay. Okay. This Tailwind's gonna peter out. Water Spout. I don't know if I want to reveal that yet. I kind of like a Water Spout. I don't want to reveal my Shuka yet. Okay, with Crocodile. Trick Room there would have been like legendary. But we can actually protect and get my back. It's nice. Cool. Definitely not out of this yet. Bolted. Let's show. Okay. How much Tailwind Trick Room? We have 1 more turn of Trick Room. So we definitely protect. Can't switch out. max. Probably, I'm guessing the Bolton. Serena also would make sense here. Riz Bolton, okay. We are just gonna start this trick room. Rats, okay. Yeah, so I probably don't come back from this one. Next lightning isn't gonna do much. I know. Do I want to double protect? Did I get anything from that though, is the thing? Like, no, I feel like that's way too risky. I'm just gonna Dazzling Gleam. Maybe the double protect would have been better. I feel like I need as much damage on this Bolton right now as I can if I'm gonna win. Which, yeah, that's not a lot, but like, damn. Okay, so we lose this game 100%. Real shit though. That's not great. Screw it. I'm just gonna go for the kill in this arena. This game's a wrap. Okay. So that's gonna be game 1. Game 2, how do I want to adjust to this?
That's evil. The fungus was actually pretty weak too, especially that heat wave. I bet an airstream takes it out. Gosh, I really want to go max Talon, but I feel like it's just dumb. Max Bolton really doesn't sound bad. I mean, Bolton in general could start quaking. Serena. You can't fake tears me. I feel like I go with this. I feel like I go with the same thing. Or do I bring Cress? Cress isn't that good. Guzzlord is interesting though. If he goes with Trick Room. I guess we can save the Guzz for game 3. I just feel like this squad can win it. The biggest question is, do I max the Talonflame in front of a Coco? Evil Coco, yeah. He could actually have Quick Tech. Man, I could just max the Talon right here. He doesn't really have a switch in for this. I guess I could go with the Bolton. I feel like I need to get rid of the Stevel though, don't I? Maybe not. I feel like Talon is really useful here. I'm just gonna see what he does. He might. I'm gonna see how he does. What he does with this. Okay, that's fine. We could have gone for the Thievel, I suppose. What does he go for? Snarl or something? Burning Jealousy? Okay, so that's really nice that we didn't max. That's really nice that we didn't max. I kind of want to double the Thievel. Do I go Heatwave or Hurricane, though? Because he could max Starfall. I feel like Bolton is fine, though, in the end. I guess I'll Hurricane. Fake Tears. Interesting. He's still faster than my Crook. It barely isn't KO. Yeah, I figured. But now... See, Talonflame should be faster, though, so I can just Heat Wave. And I think I can just max Serena, actually, potentially. Heat Wave, max Serena, or Heat Wave, max Bolton. Or do I just Heat Wave Grassy Glide? Who's more useful? Okay, against a Jellicent, I can ignore Fungus with Serena. Bolton is... Man, I can just start Quaking, though. Get rid of that Shuka Berry. I guess I'll go Serena. I could always Protect, I suppose, but I don't know how that helps me. I can overrate the terrain. I mean, who in the back is... I guess... Does he have a Scab in the back? He could have, like, Jellicent and... I guess he could get rid of the Talon here. I feel like Grassy Glide Heat Wave is fine. I don't know that we need to max yet. I feel like Max Bolton in the end could be the play. Man, maybe no, I don't think a max is the play. Thunderbolt, okay. That's fine. I think we have one more turn of Tailwind. Oh yeah, and a Bolton Max Quake will take that out. All day. Escavalier. This is tricky now, actually, because we have to flare the Escav, but we could die. Oh, this is scary. And we have one more turn of Tailwind. Okay, so he probably has Jellicent at the end, right? So we basically can't lose Serena. But I feel like we have to bounce. And we have to flare. Or do we just Fire Fang? And we have to max, I think. So he doesn't have Akka. I have to really hope. So I have to really hope that... I guess he could Protect. What do you think about this? So if he goes for a max grass or a max on the Serena, then we might be okay. The question is, what is he going for? Is he going for a Quake or is he going for the Serena? He's Protect. That's huge. I mean, we could have just done Fire Fang, but... What does he have? Does he go for the Quake? If he goes for the Quake, we could be in trouble. He went for Flutterby. Oh my gosh. We just Flare again, and he'll die to bounce. He has to go for a Hyper Beam. I mean, he's not AV. He surely has Protect. I guess he could go for a double Max Guard, maybe? He's got to swap to Jellicent, go for a double Max Guard. Yeah, I think he just... Let me think, if he has like Passimian in the back, I don't think that's a problem. But I think Lightning should be fine. And Passimian doesn't really get any spread moves. We need this bounce to hit though. Sweet. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Alright. The fate is in the other player's hands, most likely. Jellicent? Okay, yeah. Oh, man. Bolton just picks it up. Let's go, Bolton. Getting a few KOs this game. GG's to C-Rad. That puts us at 5-5. So we're not guaranteed playoffs, but we just need some people to lose. So, yeah.
That you do, Goomer. That you do. Looking at the standings, Goomer moves up to 5-5 with a +1 and -7 differential, which puts him just behind Solanor and at least temporarily ahead of Sakimoto. He's not in the best position for playoffs, but there is a very clear path and a way for him to get in. It will involve Matt beating ksniterider and Sakimoto not scoring a 2-0 in his match. Goomer is guaranteed to finish ahead of the loser between Dina and El Flamingo, as their game differential will drop from +1 to +0 at best. So while his destiny is not in his own hands, it is still a very, very strong possibility that he can make playoffs. With that being said, up next we are going to have Sakimoto versus Izzy Max. Saki can eliminate his brother with a 2-0 here, but anything less than a 2-0 and he himself will be eliminated from the playoffs. So let's go ahead and dive on into that match from his perspective to see how it pans out.
Alrighty. This is Sakimoto. Sakimoto 24. We're playing PDPL match, final week of the season. I need this win to have a chance for playoffs. So it's very important for me. I'm not guaranteed in if I win, but I think we're in Series 9. But yeah, I for sure need the win if I want to have a chance. So going up against Izzy Max should be fun. And good luck and have fun. See who he's got. Ooh. Lurantis I didn't prep much for. He's got the Drowdon, Hitmonlee. No Marowak. That should be fine. Question is, do I want Articuno? I don't really have a Trick Room. A Trick Room would be nice. Kind of want to just Superpower could be annoying. I do kind of want to lead Stoutland because it just feels safe. Like T-Tar Stoutland. It just feels so safe. And I guess I could do Sand Slash in the back, although I will struggle with the Lurantis in general. Maybe I go Articuno Klefki in the back. How good is Sand Slash? Sand Slash isn't really bad. I don't want to get whisked by the Fletchender, but I'll go Articuno in the back. I can honestly go Golduck in the back, like Sand Slash Articuno. I don't even have to bring Klefki. Or I could just go Golduck. Yeah, I'll go Sand Slash in the back. Yeah. I really want to bust out the Specs Golduck, but I'm not sure with the Lurantis there. Oh, you can see me. Hi. Using the iPhone 13 capture card. Because I'm actually out of town. Okay. I was thinking this might be his lead. Oh my gosh, dude. Okay. Rock Slide. Let's see. Like, I could Max here. I kind of want to, but I don't know if Max Strike is that good or if I should stall out Tailwind. I could Giga Impact. Or I could just Crunch. Steel Spike also wouldn't be bad. Like, what does he have in the back that deals with Stoutland now? You know? I'll do this. Actually, this is kind of a risky play, because if he just whisks the Stoutland, I look pretty bad here. So this is actually kind of a risky play. Tailwind, okay. Good damage. Good defense boost. Let's see if he superpowers the T-Tar. Okay, he finds our Chompel. That's fine. That's actually great. That's totally fine. Ah, we missed the Fletchender. That's so bad. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I kind of have to target the... Yeah. I kind of want to Quake the Lurantis. Get a defense boost. Or a special defense boost in case he has Duraludon in the back. I don't know if it'll KO, though. I guess I'll Max Strike. Nah, I kind of want... I don't see any reason not to do this. Yep, that makes sense. So that kind of stinks for our max, but... Yeah, the Quake definitely wouldn't have killed there. Rock Slide. Alright, so can Izzy 2v4? He could, honestly. Now, what I'm afraid here... He could just double the T-Tar. Like, that's such a good play on his part. But... I'm going to go for the crunch. I could honestly lower their speed. I kind of want to boost special defense. Like, what if I just switch in... Nah, I'm going to crunch. I really want to crunch this thing. Actually, how many turns of Tailwind? That much? Okay. Like, if I switch into Sand Slash and Strike and DD... Honestly, Sand Slash might have been more valuable than Articuno. Ooh, we probably die to that. No, we don't. Cool. That's good. Okay, so that should just go down to whatever. Overgrowth. Does he double the T-Tar? He did! He doubled the T-Tar slot. Okay. That's totally fine. Crit. Oh, that mattered. That mattered. I forget how many turns of Tailwind left. I forget. I'm bringing Artie. I'm bringing Farty Artie. It does have Tailwind. Okay. But the Stoutland should outspeed the Indeedee, so we just crunch it. And I guess we just freezing Glare. Try to freeze him. We could go for the Ancient Power. Or the Shadow Ball. Just Shadow Ball, I guess. And crunch. We're lucky Indeedee super frail. Okay, we get competitive, which is huge. We're pretty bulky with AV, so... Sweet, that's good enough damage. That's probably good enough damage to seal up this game, I think. Because we should be faster. So we'll get another Shadow Ball off. And we'll get a Stomping Tantrum. I guess if he gets a weakness... Actually, I think if he still gets a weakness policy boost, it doesn't matter. I think we've got this. Oh man, that did nothing. Oh, is that a crit? Yeah. Yeah, this should be locked up then. Perfect timing for T-Tar to come back in. Reset the old sandstorm. Freaking Max Overgrowth Duraludon. Is that Solar Beam? Does he get Seed Bomb? Is he physical? Are you physical, is he, Max? Lurantis is actually interesting as a lead with, good job, Stout. Lurantis is actually interesting as a lead because my Stoutland Max strikes are really awkward to use. Should I just go with the Golduck? Kind of want to. Although Sand was pretty good. And he didn't learn him Sash, so it's like really, really good. He's gonna get Tailwind up regardless. Kind of just want to max AV Articuno and go to town. I really want to do this, but I don't know if it's good. Like, because he has 2 Fake Out Mons. I lead Stoutland. I could just lead Golduck. But Klefki could be good. I kind of just want to leave this. All right, Maxwell. Game 2, Maxwell. Where's the stab? You freaking nut. Is a Rockfall just Oko Articuno? I don't know. Is he actually gonna go for this? He probably does, dude. That's so sad. This is a bad play. So I really didn't need that Sash broken. He's doing it. He's doing the peck. I think. This isn't bad, though. I think Articuno can win in the back. Just don't target Sand Slash. Cool. Okay, I'm fine with this, I think. Oh, it does so much. So he has to target the Sand Slash. And then we can Tailwind. Do I just high horsepower this thing? And protect? I'll double him. Freaking Dynamax Hitmonlee. This is crazy. Oh, I live. That's so big for me. Good job, Sand Slash. Oh, but I high horsepowered. So I'm gonna whiff. Oh, and I go down. That stinks. Does he wisp me? Oh, he tailwinds. Oh, because he got hurt, so he couldn't. It wasn't priority. Man, that stinks. All right, I think I throw out Articuno now. I could just Dynamax Stoutland though. But I think this might be better. Because then I don't have to play the Wisp game. I can just Dynamax Articuno, protect T-Tar potentially. Duraludon, okay. He's gotta wisp me. I don't think he has anything else to do. So I kind of just want to protect and airstream the. Well, do I even care about a freaking wisp? Could switch into Stoutland, but. I can't believe we went with the Hitmonlee. That was awesome, dude. I bet that darkness would have O-coded Dynamax Articuno too. The darkness from that Hitmonlee, I bet. Oh, it definitely would have actually. Does he double me? Hey, no, there's no reason to double, I guess. AV. OP. This Lanerantis is getting airstreamed. And then I guess we go for... I guess we could switch. Even though I do have a speed boost. That's not worth it though. Because I know I'm going to die. I'll Rock Slide. Airstream. Thunder, he goes for the Thunder hacks. And we get the clean Oko. Cool. this is a nice recipe for us for an end game. Phantasm into Stomping Tantrum. Should do the trick. Good games, Izzy, my friend. You were the real winner here. I should have gone with Copycat and Shell Smash Turtonator. Freaking weakness policy at Munley. That's it for me. Good games, dude.
In a move that can only be described as blood-chillingly savage, Sakimoto does in fact pull off the 2-0 to eliminate his own brother from playoff contention. However, as his 2-0 was a +4 and not a +6, he does not pass Solanor on the rankings, which means we are in for a race. Solanor has locked himself a playoff spot as he is guaranteed to be ahead of the loser of Dina versus El Flamingo. Sakimoto, on the other hand, is going to have to sweat this one out. He will have to hope that Matt beats ksniterider, because if Matt wins that match, then ksniterider is eliminated from playoffs and Sakimoto will take the 8th seed. However, if ksniterider wins that match, then Sakimoto is eliminated from playoffs and will finish in 9th place. That's going to be a match for the ages for those two. However, before we get into that, we've been talking a lot about this Dina versus El Flamingo match and how it is a true win-and-in. It's not going to affect anyone else's playoff positions at this point. We just know that one of them will make playoffs and one of them will not. So without any further ado, we're going to be hopping into that match. But first, we've done some coach interviews with both of the coaches. So let's go meet the coaches before they get into their match and figure out what their thoughts are going into this crucial win-and-in in Week 11. Hi guys, it's El Flamingo here, and I'm joined by Stout Gaming today, and we're doing another coach interview. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Alright. No, but in all seriousness, thank you so much for joining us today. I know we got a coach interview for this last week of the season. How have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been doing okay, man. Just had regionals. That was fun.
Oh yeah, and how'd you do at the regionals?
I went 4-3 and got 21st overall. One more win and I would have taken Snoot's spot because I had a really good resistance.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all. Good stepping stones there. But speaking of regionals, I know you've got a couple big draft matches coming up soon, and we can get into draft soon. But beyond the PDPL, what's sort of your background in VGC and draft leagues?
Yeah, well, I guess proper competitive sort of stuff I started in 2020, just before COVID hit. I went to my first in real life competition. That didn't go so well, but I've like dabbled in smogging for maybe 10 years before that. I'd go on little binges of a month where I'd play non-stop and then I wouldn't touch it again for another 6 or 7 months. But then just the accessibility to getting Pokemon in Sword and Shield was just too easy to pass up. So yeah, and then my first draft league was one I actually organised after watching the WBE, and it was in just a Facebook chat group. That's where I met Wakeman. And then we just use usage stats on as tiers, but you know, people just ended up getting real busted shit, so it was pretty fun. And then I've done a whole bunch of VGC draft leagues, and I've done a couple singles, which has been interesting. And just getting back into the IRL competitions. Been to Brisbane Regional, didn't do well there. Went to Melbourne Regional, got 21st there, and I was really happy with that. And the team I brought was worked well. And that's about it. Now I'm in PDPL, GLDL mod with yourself.
Yeah, I've been in one of those sort of Facebook group chat draft leagues before. That was also my first draft league experience. Also,
Yeah.
super busted team. It was before Crown Tundra came out, and
Yeah, okay.
it was an untiered. It was untiered, and I had the first pick.
Oh wow.
So I ended up with like Rillaboom, Excadrill, Primarina, Rotom Heat, Weezing Galar. Like it was not fair.
Oh, that's dumb.
Like
Yeah,
a Dracozolt was in there and Hippowdon somewhere too. Like it was a mess. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've definitely enjoyed playing in my share of draft leagues as well. So you've been in a number. What's been your favorite sort of format that you've played in draft league wise then?
I am really enjoying the Great Lakes Draft League at the moment. So the Series 10 no restricted draft league. And I think this is the first time I haven't got all sweaty when drafting, and I think I'm doing the best I've ever done. So I think I should take some lessons from that and stop being so sweaty when I try and draft teams.
Yeah, you have the mustache theme team going on in the Great Lakes, if I'm not mistaken there.
And it's going absolute gangbusters. Like, I've got a whole bunch of 2-0s against people, one loss. So it's actually working out surprisingly well.
Yeah, I've also got a decent record in Great Lakes with a much less sweaty draft as well. Basically, my entire draft, I was just trying to snipe a coach who ended up dropping. So it was fantastic.
Are you the reason they dropped?
No, I'm not the reason Goomy dropped, but I did intentionally attempt to snipe him on every single pick with no other
That's
plan.
fair, man. That's fair.
But yeah, speaking of the PDPL, you are currently sitting at 5-4, and you've got a big match coming up this week against Dina, who is also sitting at 5-4. And it's a true win-in for both of you guys. And if you lose, you could still make it, but you'd have to hope for about 3 or 4 other results to break your way as well. So, how's your mindset going into that match right now?
I feel early on the season I was like doing quite well with some surprise tech, and then sort of in the late middle end of season I've just kind of got a bit what's the word?
Predictable?
Standard, a bit stale. Yeah, a bit predictable. So I'm hoping I can bring some unpredictable sets that hopefully put a spanner in Dina's work. Yeah. But we'll see. Like, she's got a pretty busted team. Glastria, Rotom Wash, and Centre Scorch is like a real good offensive trio. Mm-hmm. And then she's also got that Diggersby, which is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, Diggersby is a really interesting one because I believe a timid Diggersby, because of huge power, ends up with the same attack and speed as an adamant Landorus Therian. I think it's the exact same stat number for both of them once you calculate it all out.
That's stupid.
But speaking of your team, though, I know you said you were happy with it at the beginning and you feel like you might have been getting a little stale with it. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you rate sort of the Mons on your team? Like, what are your thoughts about your team overall? Performed how you expected, better, worse?
Look, it's probably performing at about expected. I really wanted to do a protect the king sort of strategy. Mm-hmm. So building around that Celesteela, and then everything is there just to help it out. Early on in the season, I wasn't bringing Celesteela much because everything else seemed to have a good matchup into who I was playing. Like Rotom Heat and Cofagrigus and Manectric and Seismitoad all looked good into a bunch of different teams, so I wasn't needing the Celesteela as much. But towards the middle of the season, it started looking better and better, so I've been using it a little bit more come the mid and late season. Mm-hmm. And it has a okay matchup into Dina's team. Like, she has got the Rotom and the Centre Scorch, but I feel some of my other Mons can cover that quite well, and it's just going to be a bit more about positioning, I think, against Dina. Yeah,
and the Celesteela also gets grass and rock coverage if needed, depending on the sets as well. So
exactly.
that's useful.
Yeah, Yeah, well, it gets both a physical and a special move for both, so I could run either, really.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. I only just found out it got seed bomb, so that was...
Always fun
so,
to
yeah.
find those late season texts. You're like, oh, should have been doing this much more throughout the season.
Right? Jeez. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with how the team is going. Like I like playing real bulky and trying to slow the pace of the game down. Even though a lot of my games it's been first turn max, just try and destroy everything. I think that's why I prefer the Series 10 sort of format, is because you can slow the tempo down and just take control of the match. Whereas when there's, 3 turns of the equivalent of Z moves coming at you, boosting stats and dropping yours, it's a bit harder to take that tempo of the game. So, yeah. My team is fat, but it takes hits well, but sometimes it just doesn't dish him out well. And fucking Tay bringing that Haze Spectria, that was the perfect thing into my team. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting tech. Looking at his usage stats, you'd think his Spectre is having an awful season because it's got something like 3 kills and 15 deaths, but it puts in work every single week for him without finishing anything off.
It's just using, it's been such a good support mod for him, and that's how generally he's been using. Yeah, he's done a couple of Life Orb sets, but generally it just kind of sits there and snarls and wisps and fucking hazes. So, but yeah.
It can be a bit annoying. It's surprisingly bulky. So you had the first pick in the draft, if I'm remembering correctly, and you went with Celesteela.
Correct.
If you drafted again, would you still take Celesteela first pick?
I think I would. I think I'd just build, still do like a protect the kin strategy, but maybe with a bit of a hyper offensive backbone or mode. Maybe 2 or 3 mons that can just blast off the get-go without having to boost or anything like that. I think that would be my one big change.
Okay.
Probably get rid of the Rotom. And I thought about making trades, but I'm pretty stubborn. So even though Kling Klang wasn't a great pick for me, I was looking to potentially run plus and minus stuff with Manectric or Bulldoze weakness policy stuff with Tauros. But then I thought, just getting the Glalie will give me a bit more, will let me do that sort of anger point strat. And then I got Corvusquire just because I had 10 points left over, so I thought I should spend 5 of them on something.
Yeah, that checks out. And if you end up winning, you'll also have the free agent playoff transaction to potentially address something, especially for your first round matchup if it looks like it's going to be a rough one.
Yeah. Maybe a hard hitting tier 2 or something like that.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to pluck from someone's previous team.
Yeah, that absolutely checks out. So, looking at it, have you had a favorite match that you've had this season so far?
I've been wiped out twice. So those matches weren't fun. I've done some wiping out myself. So those matches, they're fun, but they're not super entertaining. I think our match was pretty good.
Yeah, we had a good one.
It kind of went right down to it. Even though it was a 2-0, it wasn't like I just came in and blasted you. It was, we had to fight.
Yeah, I think they were both 1-0s or something.
Yeah. So I think that that was probably been my funnest battle so far. Even though it was a 2-0, but it wasn't a blasting 2-0. I think my 1-2-1 was against Anthony. Yeah, Izzy Max. I shouldn't have won that, but I did.
Yeah, that was just watching that. You were getting increasingly more and more tilted, and then you got one roll in your favor late. You'd be like, "Oh, I think I win this."
I got this.
Never mind. I was incorrect. Moving on. So
yeah. So I'd have to say our battle was probably the most fun battle.
yeah, it was a really fun set. I can't lie about that, and it being the first week of the season. Obviously, a good start to the season. And looking at the standings and potential matchups, there's also a very good chance we end up playing first round in the playoffs if you end up winning your match. So we might have a chance to run that one back again, just like GLDL.
Yeah, hopefully not the stale team building I've been doing so far.
I mean, I'm okay with it. You know, you do you.
Oh, shut up.
But I think that's enough about Pokemon. So let's learn a little bit more about who El Flamingo is. So I know in chat you said you were very excited that ksniterider made you not the oldest person in the league. So how old are you actually then?
So I'm 35. So he's a year older than me. So that feels good. I'm not the old man.
Yeah, old man yells at clouds. Not you yet. Not yet. So what do you do for work then?
I'm an exercise physiologist. So I got my master's in clinical exercise physiology, and I work at a gym a couple days a week, and I work for a university, not in the educational side of things, but there's a program run out of the university that works with ex-service people and people with disabilities, and trying to get them more engaged in the community and increase their physical activity, and also provide them with the strategies to be able to adhere and manage it themselves. So essentially my job is to make myself obsolete over 12 sessions.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. My wife is a personal trainer, so I get some of that.
Cool.
I get some of that vibe as well, where she's like, I've been working with this guy for 6 months, and then he was coming to resign. He's like, I don't know if I actually need this anymore. She's like, then you need to keep doing. Yeah. So
yeah, the PT can't be too good at their job.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get that. But is this sort of exercise physiology something that you've always wanted to do? I know you got a master's in it, so at least a couple years you definitely knew you wanted to do it, or is this sort of like more recent inspiration for you?
So I did my undergrad in sports science, my first degree was a Bachelor of Mathematics, and then halfway through that, I went, what am I doing? Like, I couldn't see myself doing anything in that field. So I ended up doing my PT course and then going to university doing sports science, and was going to then transfer over to physiotherapy. But then I was thinking, I don't really want to just like massage people's asses and stuff like that. And this exercise thing is actually really interesting, especially outside of like the rehab context, trying to, the health benefits of just physical activity, not necessarily exercise, but just physical activity, really resonated with me. So then I went on to do my master's in the clinical exercise physiology. So working a lot more with people with serious conditions, and I somehow found myself in this mental health realm, which is very interesting to say the least.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's a bit of an interesting connection between Pokemon and that, because I think you and Solanor are both in the, promote the healthy lifestyle, the physical everything, and it's, you think of Pokemon players as all sweaty nerds, and you definitely have a couple of those, but you also have a lot of that sort of promotion of physical well-being, and you can play some video games while you're doing that as well.
Yeah, exactly. And like at the gym, I train a lot of sweaty nerds, so it's good to see people like achieve goals when they're, this one stereotype. And I would like to see more like physical activity promotion in the gamer realm, because it is a very sedentary activity, and a lot of people do spend far too much time doing it. So it would be interesting to see people promoting more of a healthy lifestyle while still being being a gamer. Someone like Wolfie does a pretty good job of it. Like, he talks a lot about his physical activity and that sort of stuff. So it would be good to see more people sort of promote that side of things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I know that there's actually I also play chess, and in the high level like chess community, the best players have really strict exercise regimens as well, because there's a link between your physical well-being and your mental performance as well. So as you get more and more involved in this and you want to get better and better, you got to make sure that you're improving your body as well as your mind when you're doing it.
100%.
So with that being said, besides the physical activity and the Pokemon, do you have any other major hobbies that you want to let everyone else know about?
Yeah, so I play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a pretty common thread along a lot of people in PDPL at the moment.
That has been, yeah. You're going to get a pickup game going at some point.
Yeah, I know, right? Snoot and Flamingo will come over to the US, play some 3-on-3 or something. And then I was competing in strongman competitions prior to COVID. And then, during COVID, my daughter was born. I haven't been able to train properly to get back into strongman competitions. But that would be good to get back into eventually. And then, of course, being a father, that's I spend a lot of time doing that. And I actually don't work Mondays at the moment. Because instead of sending her to daycare, I've taken the day off, and it's my favourite day of the week.
Right.
So those are probably the three big things that keep me busy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned something that leads me to a bit of a question, actually. I've forgotten about COVID everything for a second, and I know Australia had some very intense lockdowns. What were you able to do work-wise during these COVID lockdowns? Because I know that gyms, for example, were sort of ground zero for government restrictions for a while.
Yeah. So we did a lot of telehealth appointments.
Mm-hmm.
And we, at the gym I work at, it's just a little gym, privately owned. So it's not a big chain gym like a Planet Fitness or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually gave out all our equipment to people. And so people ended up with like a set of dumbbells, some bands, and whatever that wasn't a big piece of machine, we got rid of it all for, I think, 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We were in shutdown. So initially my income dropped substantially, but the government was paying $750 a week if you lost a certain amount of hours. And then by the second or third week, I was back up to where I was, so I was okay. But the government still continued to pay me for 6 months. So that was interesting. So yeah, we just did telehealth, and that worked quite well. Just being able to give out equipment to people.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know there's a run on fitness equipment, just generally, so it would have been hard for a lot of people to get it. So good on your gym for setting up that sort of like short-term loaner program, I guess.
Yeah, it just made sense. Like, it was either just going to sit there and do nothing, or we could keep our clients and gym members active. I mean, we've got a limit on the amount of members there, so it's 100 members. So we weren't like scarce on equipment for people or anything like that. So everyone got a bit of something, and were able to like maintain their like physical activity routine throughout that 6-week lockdown. I'm in Queensland, so we only had 6 weeks. Down in Melbourne, where the regional was, they were locked down for months. Because every time they came out of lockdown, they were like licking doorknobs or something. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but they were, they kept spiking really high. Maybe it was a bit of overkill, but I think we're all okay now.
Yep. Until COVID 3.0, the Omicron.
Omicron.
The Omicron, the double Omi. Okay, awesome. So how old is your daughter now?
She today is 1 year and 4 months.
Oh, that is exciting. So she is
Yeah.
starting to develop a personality.
Oh, totally. She's running and trying to put her finger in PowerPoints and drink the bleach and all the kind of dumb stuff the kids do. So have to
Excellent.
keep our eye open a lot.
Yeah. You gotta let them learn. You gotta let them learn sometimes,
Oh,
right?
exactly. They're only going to hit their head once, then they figure it out.
Yeah, I was in a musical theater production once, and there was this like highly choreographed dance fight thing, and I had to duck at one point, and someone swung a leg over my head, and I was always like half a beat late on it, and the director just looked at the girl once and said, "Just kick him once, he'll learn, and he won't miss it again."
He'll learn.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I get the
That's
feeling
my
there.
philosophy. That's my philosophy for parents is like, they'll do something dumb, but they'll only do it once, and then they'll learn. You can't just be
Yeah.
like every time they go to bump their head or walk into a glass door or something like that, you can't stop them because they'll just keep doing it. Let them hit their head, then they'll be fine.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I know you've been traveling a little bit for regionals as well, but beyond regionals, is traveling something that you generally like to do, or is it just all Pokemon based?
No, me and my wife would always try and get away once a year. I think we had a trip booked for 2020 to come to the US. I was going to do a strength and conditioning course in Florida, but if we went out, we weren't going to be able to get back in. I think that's C-store flights anyway. So we had to can that. But prior to that, we'd been to, we did a trip to Bali and Singapore. That was great. We did a trip all through the US we did a month in the US, and that was awesome. We did, we've done a Europe trip. We're always traveling in Australia, be it to Melbourne or to my wife did a lot of her growing up in Adelaide, which is in South Australia. It's like South Central, whereas I'm Northeast Australia. So yeah, we try and get out as much as we can. And the state I live in is friggin' massive as well. It's the biggest state second biggest state in Australia. So I think from the southernmost point to the northernmost point is 2,500 kilometers, which would be about 1,600 miles or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big state.
Pretty sizable,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, we often just travel within the state as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I think that gets through basically everything I wanted to talk about. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns before we wrap this up?
What are your hobbies, Dan? We hear about everyone else's hobbies, but we don't know what your hobbies are. So outside of Pokemon, Dan, what do you do?
Professionally, I work in U.S. politics, so I'm a professional useless person. On top of that, I played Pokemon, other video games. I like Final Fantasy XIV recently. I'm slowly but surely working on writing a book, so we'll see if that ever gets finished. I do boxing. I do chess.
Physical activity.
Yeah, physical activity, because burning a couple calories is always worth potential brain damage. You can never go wrong there. Yeah, boxing, chess. I did a lot of musical theater before the pandemic, but haven't had much opportunity to do it since then. And when I was in school, I played tuba in my marching band, so I got massive lung capacity if I need it. So, yeah, that basically sums it up for me, I think.
Cool. What are you writing?
It's mostly
You're writing a book.
Yeah. It's mostly young adult fantasy. When I was in high school, I read, I think, every YA book in the library. The school librarian would ask me for recommendations when kids would come in and say, hey, I like this, this, and this, because she knew, in this section, I'd read all of them. And I thought to myself, if I like reading this so much, and it's really what got me to love reading when I was that age, I should write something because if I can make another kid, really enjoy reading, then there's a lot worse things that they could be doing. So,
Yeah.
it's just sort of a pet project of mine.
That's awesome, dude.
But yeah, I think that sums up the gist of what I do.
Yeah. That's good. It's good to hear from the interviewer rather than just the interviewee.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. I'm a manager of people, basically. I'm good at getting people in the position to succeed, hence PDPL.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Well, I think that's everything I have.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining. I tell everyone now to like, comment, and subscribe, but this isn't one of those videos, so I hope you guys have already done that if you're watching this right now, and I hope that you continue to join the broadcast, and I'll see you with the next segment.
Later, guys.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dan, and I am joined by Dina, not Donna. How are you doing today, Dina?
I'm doing good. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing well as well. Thanks so much for asking. So I guess we can just sort of dive right on into it. I know that you're in the PDPL. You're doing pretty well. You've got a true winning in against El Flamingo. That's going to be airing pretty soon after this. But why don't you tell me just a little bit about your Draft League and VGC background?
Sure. So I actually got started in VGC in 2017. Me and Anthony, who at the time was my boyfriend, he's now my husband, we started going to some SoCal locals and found that the community was really cool. We met a lot of nice people, and then that kind of motivated us to start going to more events. So we started going to bigger events like regionals. Our first one was in Anaheim. Then we started venturing up to NorCal for San Jose regionals, and eventually after that, we started going to out-of-state events. So first, we started with TJ because it's right next to SoCal, right across the border, so it's really easy for us to go to their events. And then I eventually went out to Arizona for a couple of their local events. After that, we went to Internats in Ohio, and after that, in 2019, we went to Berlin for EUIC, which was definitely my favorite VGC trip. So we were basically planned to keep playing competitively until events paused. And I was able to find a decent amount of success in the VGC scene, but I was never able to cut a regional. But I was able to cut a lot of events in SoCal, which isn't easy to do. That region has a lot of world's caliber players. It's a really, really competitive scene, and it's not easy to consistently cut there. So I was pretty proud of that, and I was able to win a couple of online tours. And I was able to cut the Hatterene series, which is a tournament created specifically for women and non-binary people in the community. So cutting that twice was really exciting as well. That's basically sums up my VGC experience. After events paused, I wanted a way to still kind of play the game and also build upon what I felt I was lacking in some of the fundamentals in Pokemon, because basically outside of the top 35 Pokemon in the meta, I didn't know anything beyond those. So I found myself often losing to weird non-meta mons, and I felt like playing in leagues could help me kind of understand Pokemon beyond just the VGC meta. And it also felt like a good opportunity for me to build upon my team building and just general understanding of the game, because I've always been the type of player where I'm more of a pilot and not really a builder. So I never really built my own teams. I wasn't really interested in that. I just liked the game, and I happened to be pretty good at playing it. So Draft League seemed like a good opportunity to kind of improve upon that weakness. And Taryn, who's a good friend of mine in the VGC community, asked me to join the multi-battle conference. So I partnered up with her in that, and I was familiar with it through Anthony and Matt, who I live with. They had won it one of the seasons and seemed like a cool league. So that was my first introduction to draft leagues, and I had a lot of fun playing with Taryn. Eventually, after that, Matt invited me to the Max Doubles League, where I was able to make top 8 twice, and that was a really fun league for me as well. It was a great community. I had a lot of fun. then after that, I wasn't lucky enough to be invited to your league, and eventually I joined Great Lakes as well. So now I'm somehow in like 4 leagues all at once, because I also joined Team Egypt for Victory Road. It's our first time that Egypt's going to be represented, so that's really exciting. I couldn't pass that up, so now I'm in 4 leagues all at once. And I also did a little bit of work with USPA as the SoCal manager, so that's sort of my experience in leagues.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and that does tend to happen where you're like, I'm never going to do more than 1 league at a time, then you just wake up and you're in 4 somehow. Like, we can understand. We can all understand how that happened. For the non-Americans who are going to be watching, SoCal and NorCal are Southern and Northern California, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so those of you in Queensland who are watching, that's a state in the United States. No, I'm sure they know. But
might as well be.
Yeah. Yeah, so California, if it was a country, would be the 6th largest economy in the world, ahead of Australia. Just throwing that one out there. But back to the leagues a bit. So you are in the PDPL. You're currently sitting at 5-4 with a win and in against another 5-4 coach for playoff this season. So you want to just tell me a little bit about your team? Are you happy with it? Are there some things you wish you could change on it? What's been your top performer? You know, just the general sense of your team so far.
Sure. I am happy with my team, although it hasn't really gone exactly how I expected. I drafted Horse because I used it a lot in VGC, and I love it. It's one of my favorite Pokemon competitively, and I never used it in draft before until this league. So I was excited to draft it and thought it would kind of be the star of the team, but hasn't exactly worked out that way. But I don't think that necessarily made me unhappy with the team, because it kind of allowed other parts of the team to shine more than I expected. So the Rotom has been performing a lot better than I expected. And the Phalanx even sent to Scorch. The Crobat Diggersby mode has been really cool. I've never drafted Diggersby before, and I had no idea how powerful it was until I actually started using it. So it's been nice, like kind of seeing other parts that I didn't expect to do as well, performing better than they have. I do wish that I could have made a little bit better use of the Horse, but other than that, I feel like I'm happy with my team.
Well, you still got one more match potentially to do that, so that could be an opportunity for you to do that. So you had a fairly early pick, and you did pick that Glastrier in the first round and sort of built around it. If you were to do the draft again, is there something else that you would pick in that slot or in any other slot?
Not really. I feel like even though the Horse, I mentioned earlier, like it hasn't gotten to shine as much as it has, I feel like because it's so threatening, it forces players to respect that mode. So overall, I feel like I've been pretty happy with how everything's been performing, and I don't think I would really change much.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then looking at your matches so far this season, do you have a favorite match that you've played in so far?
Yeah, the top 2 are probably the Saki and Snoot games, but specifically the Saki game because it was my second time trying to get the weakness policy Bronzong off. And in the Snoot game, I feel like that was a really good game, even though I lost. So it was exciting kind of seeing it work out. And the reason that I did that again was because when I was looking at the Snoot matchup, it looked really, really tough for the Horse. He had a lot of ways to kind of slow it down. He had Intimidate. And I thought that the Bronzong looked pretty decent in that matchup. And I was doing everything I can to get like good offensive calcs with it. And it just like, it wouldn't hit the mark. So I live with Matt and Anthony. We talk like Pokemon all day, basically. So I was sharing this like concern with them. And Matt suggested weakness policy. And sure enough, like that was the way to get like the calcs I needed. So got really excited with that. Put the policy on there, and that led me to adding the support Horse, which felt really weird at first because I've never ran a support-oriented Horse. But with the Bronzong getting that policy, I feel like it made sense, and it also made it so that I didn't have to worry about those Intimidates because I had the body press. So it made sense, even though it felt really strange. And I was really sad that it didn't work out well in the Snoot matchup. And the Saki game felt like a good chance to try that again. So it was really exciting to actually see it work out, because I don't typically try stuff that's that out of the box or that creative. I usually like to play a little more standard. So it was exciting to kind of take a risk and see it pay off.
Yeah, I can absolutely relate to the playing more standard. That was a very cool set with the Glastrier. I can't believe you didn't say your favorite match was the one where your opponent clicked taunt 3 times in the first 2 turns. Like, obvious choice if you ask me, but, you know, to each their own, I guess.
I'm trying to forget about that one.
Yeah, I was looking at sort of like your league record across MDL and PDPL. I'm like, man, against literally everyone else, really quite exceptional. Against me, I don't know, not great, but it's...
Yeah, I didn't expect double taunt.
I get lucky sometimes. But moving on, I think that covers a lot of the Pokemon-related stuff we wanted to talk about. Or actually, one more question about that. If you do win this match that's coming up and you make the playoffs, is there an opponent you really want to face in the playoffs?
See, this is the first league I've played in where I haven't seen anyone that I could potentially play in the playoffs and go like, oh man, I hope I get this person, because that's just going to be like so much easier for me. Like, this is honestly the first league where I don't feel that way, because every single person is going to be difficult to beat. I've even seen, like, even if the matchup looks a little bit in my favor, I know it's still going to be a difficult win. So this is probably the first league where I'm not really hoping for anyone specifically, if I'm being honest.
Okay, maybe
Everyone's...
not. Okay, that makes sense. But maybe not someone that you're looking like, I can definitely beat this person. Is there a matchup that you think, oh, it would be fun to play this person?
Not really. Yeah, I haven't honestly looked at the matchups too much yet.
Okay, that makes sense.
Might be fun to play Matt just because I live with him, but...
Yeah, we could get a grudge match, maybe get a real life, give Anthony like a camcorder to pan back and forth, like between you two sitting across from the table. That would be some much watched TV.
Yeah.
But moving on, I think that's a bit enough about the Pokemon stuff. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about you? So I take it that you do work and not school now, but I could be completely wrong. If so, what do you do for work?
Yeah, I'm currently just working. I work as a buyer, so we're a mid-sized company. We sell ink and toner, and initially I was buying everything that we source domestically, and then I got promoted to buying everything that we're sourcing from China. So it's a cool job. We used to work in an office up until like March 2020,
right?
And then we switched to remote at that point, and we've been full remote ever since. Our boss was a little hesitant to make that switch, but because it ended up working better than we all expected, he decided to go for it, and now we're fully working from home.
Yeah, that's nice. You save on a little bit of office space, and I'm currently working a part remote, part in the office job, and I can say that I think I work more efficiently when I'm working from remote as well. So it feels like a win-win. So that's nice.
Same, yeah. I've been a lot more efficient too, and not spending money on gas it's awesome.
Yeah, not having, especially in California, the land of the $7 gallon right now.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Okay, yeah. So, besides Pokemon and work, what other sort of major hobbies or areas of interest do you have?
I play some other games. Like I play D&D with a group of friends every few weeks, and I really enjoy that. Also, mostly before COVID, me and Anthony used to enjoy planning like different things for the community, like escape room trips, or there's the SoCal Grassroots events that we hosted as well, where it's basically just like a VGC tournament that we host at the park, and everyone in the area is invited that plays VGC, and we just eat, hang out. We have a little tournament that we host. Usually there's some prizing as well, and we're going to do our third one in about a month. And the other two were really successful. They were a great time. So we like planning like things like that and going out with friends and planning different gatherings. And other than that, I'm also pretty into the e-commerce and dropshipping world. I learned about it through a friend, and about a year and a half ago, and since then I've been just, when I have time, I try to like learn about drop shipping and trying to build different streams of income online and starting like an online business, because that's something I feel like I could do pretty well just outside of work. So I also like looking into different side hustles like that when I can.
So what exactly, for those of us who are potentially less informed about that, like me, what exactly is drop shipping?
It's basically like you build an online shop for whatever product. I've tried selling different types of products, and you find a vendor that you source this product from. You build your ads to get people to that site, and then the vendor ships the product on your behalf, basically. So it makes it so you can run like sort of an online shop at home without having to have a warehouse where you're physically storing everything, because that's expensive and storage fees add up. So it's basically like you're finding like a third-party vendor to ship on your behalf, whatever you choose to sell.
Yeah. So you're more like the marketer. You've got the vendor who's the seller and the buyer, and you're the middle facilitator, marketer person. So you get like a cut of the sale or whatever ends up being.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
Awesome. So you said you've traveled a lot for some Pokemon tournaments, including to Berlin. Do you have a favorite location for a regional that you've been to so far?
Definitely, like outside of the U.S., Berlin was amazing. I think that we had a really good time, and even though we were there for the regional, we also spent a lot of time just exploring the city, and it was about 8 of us that went together, so getting to explore a completely different country that I've never been to before with a group of friends was really, really cool. In the US, we went to the Columbus Regional. That was really fun, mostly because of like there was a really awesome party afterwards, and it was really cool to like hang out with everybody. But as far as like what place in the US that I thought was the most beautiful, I'd probably say the Portland area. We went to the Portland Regional there, and like the area was gorgeous, and I really enjoyed the city. So in the US, I would probably say Portland.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then have you traveled much outside of Pokemon-based travel, or has it been mostly Pokemon-based travel?
Yeah, I've traveled. I was born in Egypt, so I pretty regularly would just go back home to visit family. And sometimes on those trips we'll visit like other parts or other countries. And me and Anthony did a little bit of traveling before VGC. We went to Mexico, Florida. I think Cozumel, Mexico was probably one of the most beautiful places we visited. We got to see I believe they're called cenotes over there, and they're really gorgeous.
What is a cenote?
Let me look it up.
Is it some sort of like...
It's like a natural pit, and it's like a sinkhole, and it exposes like basically the groundwater. So if you look up a photo of it, you can kind of see what it looks like. And
okay,
it was
I'll edit one on the screen.
Yeah, it was the most like refreshing water like that you could ever swim in, and it was really, really cool.
Awesome, that does sound like a lot of fun. So with travel, I'm a bit of a foodie, so I always have to ask a food-related question. What's your favorite type of food that you've been able to have either through travel or locally?
My number one favorite food of all time is kosheri. So it's an Egyptian dish. It's actually Egypt's national dish, and it's basically rice, lentils, some pasta. It's usually some fried onions, and then a really spicy sauce that you put on top. So it's like a vegetarian type of dish, and that's like my number one favorite food. I make it all the time, and whenever my mom makes it, that's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, I can absolutely get behind a spicy dish. Gotta love some spicy food. But I think that is going to just about wrap it up. I don't think I've got any other major questions to get through. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns before we wrap up?
No, I just want to thank you for, first of all, inviting me to the league. I was really excited to get an invite, and also for interviewing me.
Yeah, absolutely. We are glad to have you. Glad to see that you're performing well this season. And normally this is where I would do a normal outro, but instead I'll say just stick around a couple more minutes and you guys will be treated to the Dina versus El Flamingo win-and-in match for the playoffs this season. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we're going to pan over to that now. Bye.
Hey guys, El Flamingo here. I'm in a different room today. I'm in my daughter's room because my wife is working in the office at the moment. Today we have our final week of the PDPL and we're up against Dina, and this is a win-and-in for both of us. Whoever loses still has a chance to get in, but it's going to be quite rough. Okay, so she's got a Glastrier which she didn't bring. She's got the Rotom-Wash. She didn't bring the Amoonguss. She brought the Center Scorch. She brought the Togepi. She didn't bring the Bronzong. Didn't bring the Phalanx. She brought the Crobat, the Diggersby, and the Impidimp. So, my go-to plan is to kind of find out what this Crobat is. Is it Mental Herb? Is it Sash? Is it Wakanberry? What's going on there? So I'm going to lead Rotom and Liepard. I've got some funny EVs on the Liepard. So I'm actually a neutral nature across the board with max attack because I kind of need it to get the roll from Fake Out to KO the Crobat. In the back, the Como-O looks really nice. It's an Iron Defense Body Press set. And then the last Pokemon, like, we're looking at Seismitoad. Like, Seismitoad seems pretty nice. So does the Celesteela. I'm running Ockerberry on the Celesteela. Seismitoad. Let's go the Celesteela first round. Let's go with this. Okay, good luck to my girl, Dina. Donna moment. Okay, so the plan is to kind of scout game one, and I can be a little bit annoying with the Rotom and the Liepard. Running double taunt today, as you saw. So I think this turn, because out of all the Pokemon she bought, I think the Crobat is most likely to have the Mental Herb. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to Thunderbolt into the Crobat. I'm going to fake it out. It's probably got inner focus, but this is why I'm running max attack on my Rotom. If it's Wakanberry, then we know for next game what we need to do. Does she match the big Chungus? Yep. I'm guessing it's got a max strike move, a max electric move, or a max fly move, and a max ground move. The last one I'm not 100% sure what it would be. That looks too bulky. Oh no, we get it. No, that's my calc. That's my calc. I know you got inner focus, but I got fake out. Okay. So we gaming now. So I'm gonna bring out the so we're both 1 for 1 there. So now I think we bring in the Como-O. I'm going to Charm and Iron Defense. Really depending on what the next one she brings out is. If it's whatchamacallit, Impidimp, I'm going to probably have to swap out the Liepard. Center Scorch. This is okay. So I'm going to Charm into the Chungus. I'm going to Iron Defense this turn. And let's Charm into the Diggersby. Yes. So that Crobat calc, I needed to run max attack, neutral nature on Liepard to get the KO on a max HP 4 special defense Crobat. And yeah. Cool. Okay, so it's White Herb, Max Quake into. Okay, I'm guessing a Leech Life is coming out here. Flare Blitz. Cool. Right, now we get recovery on the Omaha. I'm gonna Dynamax here. Max Rock Ball. Yeah, and I think we protect. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Well, now it's got a fire move, so that's probably Fire Punch. Fire Punch, Earthquake, nice. Nice. Get a rock ball off. Sweet. Given the fact that I'm getting some health back, I'm interested to see what he brings in the back. Like, Crobat, is it Rotom or is it maybe the Togepi? Rotom. Might have Will-O-Wisp actually. So I think I Max Knuckle into the Diggersby, and maybe Flash Cannon also into the Diggersby. You see a Will-O-Wisp here. Oh, Thunderbolt. A max HP. I don't live that. Lock in the Thunderbolt. It's Life Orb. He's been knocked down. He's getting some more chip. Go another Max Knuckle. So between Iron Defense and not very effective attacks, I think we should be in a pretty good position. Super nervous. Super nervous. Yep, that did nothing. Thunderbolt, this is going to be... That did nothing. So I should survive another one. So it's pretty safe here to protect. Get some more sand chip and get some more leftover recovery. And then I can body press next turn. Oh yes. So glad I brought this Como. Because it does pretty good in the Glastrier as well. Despite the Glastrier having super effective attack on the ice moves. Or should I just attack? Let's see what my HP is. Because the other thing that could happen here is I could protect, but it could nasty block. I'm +2, stab. Let's go body press. Let's go body press. Hydro pump. It should not KO unless. Cool. Cool. You'd think this would pick up, right? Yes. Oh yes. Yes, 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 please. Yes, 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 please. Okay. So my game 1 plan worked. I think we leave the same thing, but I actually think Seismitoad in the back is going to be better than the Celesteela. Purely because I've actually got some speed on it compared to my other Pokemon. So I think this time, like we lead the Rotom, we lead the Liepard, and then we bring the Como-O, and I think we bring the Seismitoad this time. Like I said, it's faster, it's got a super effective hit on Rotom, it's got super effective hits on everything except for the 2 fairies. Yeah, alright, good luck to Dina. I've also, as you can see there, I've got the Corvisquire. Corvisquire is pretty much there if I needed to get around a Wackenberry, or what it had, Rock, Fire and Ground. I haven't been writing it down because this setup is different. So no, it's Life Orb on the Rotom. We know Center Scorch has Flare Blitz. We know nothing about. We know is high horsepower. We assume it's huge power with the amount of damage it's doing. 7, 6. Okay, she locked in. We know it's White Herb. Yep. Cool. Oh, I can't believe that Liepard set play off. It's such a dumb fucking set. Togepi Rotom. Cool. Okay. So I think this is a Snarl trick. And a Snarl? No. It's a Seismitoad, and oh shit, I did it again. Okay, well at least we're tricking onto the Togepi.
Hopefully he's got a sash. That would be super nice. Yeah, I've got fake out late game. God damn it. Oh, cool. We bring in the Como now? No, I don't think we do. I think we bring in... Let's make sure I'm in the right spot. Yep. I think we bring in the Lipard. And we... I think if we fire up a Rock Slide, that covers in some switch-ins other than the Diggersby. I've got the choice scar, the focus sash here, so that's yeah, that turn 1 was meant to be a switch out to the Seismitoad. Clinically it's like darkness maybe, protect 3 attacks, Life Orb. So I'm faster with my Seismitoad. Okay, well that's clearly not into the Seismitoad. I think Snarl Max Quake here is pretty nice. What's the... Like she's got a... I think a Snarl here. And Max Quake. Yeah. Especially since I'm 1 turn behind, like a max grass move once yawn coming out here. No, we get the KO. Yes, thank God for that. Okay, so we should be 1 apiece now. Unless she's targeted into my Seismitoad. Yeah, Max Darkness into Seismitoad. Okay. Oh, that's cool. That lets me get another Snarl off. And Lipard is just sitting out here. Robot. Do we want to see if it's Mental Herb? Because I assume the it's going to be going down here. We'll fire up a Max Rock Ball into the Crobat. You'd think Life Orb base 130 attack would pick up the Crobat, even if it's bulky. At least we'll find out if it's Mental Herb. Yeah. Cool, it's good to know. Tailwind. Cool.
Rotom in the back. Like, this is still going to be rough. At least we've got sand chip happening. So it depends on who comes out. Like the fact that I've got some snails off there is nice. I think we bring in the Kommo-o. Digger's Beak. So we know it's electric, ground, and electric, ground, and fire. I think we protect here, and I think we fire off a max overgrowth into this Digger's Beak. I've got to hope that a Life Orb, Dark Pulse, and a high horsepower don't KO my max Seismitoad. Which still, I think, oh, but it's -1 special attack. This will be interesting. I should pick up a KO here, at least onto the Digger's Beak, you think. Rotom use Protect. Oh, that's sweet. That is sweet. When we use Protect, your Rotom's just getting more chip. Ah, thank God. Now, based on how much Max Knuckle did, this should pick up. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, thank God. Thank God. And none of my Pokemon out here are being chipped by rock, by sandstorm, and I'm also not I'm going to play safe and go Iron Defense and go Power Whip. This just means my Body Press, Dark Pulse on the Seismitoad makes sense. Yeah. And that's a pick up the KO. Oh, good game. Good game, Dina. I'm glad that's over. I was fretting a lot leading into this match because I needed the win. I've just come off 2 big losses in the GLDL, and so I was getting a bit pissed off with myself. I hadn't been doing that well in here, but I felt my prep this time was on point. The Iron Defense Kommo-o and the I think the mons I bought were spot on. So that's it, guys. Logging off. This is actually on Dan's channel. I was going to do an intro as Dan, but you know, I'm a fucking idiot. I forgot. But that's it. Logging off. I will see you all next time on Dan's channel or on my channel. Bye bye.
What an awesome tech. Iron Defense Kommo-o really showed up this week, and it carried Elflamingo to a 2-0 win to lock up his playoff spot. Unfortunately, that means that Dina has also been eliminated from the playoffs this season, but that shouldn't take away from an excellent season, finishing 5-5 -1. So, moving into our last match, with Elflamingo having a 2-0, he actually has a chance to pick up the bye as well, but there's a wide range of outcomes that could happen from this match. If Matt wins, then ksniterider is eliminated from the playoffs and Sakimoto takes the 8th seed. If ksniterider wins, he locks up his playoff spot, and if he has a 2-0 with a differential of +5 or more, then he will lock up the bye. And the differential in this match is really going to matter for byes, as Matt, ksniterider, and Elflamingo are all still available for that 4th seed in the bye. As a quick aside, you'll note that I have Snoot winner and Snoot loser marked in their current spots. They had previously asked for an extension until tonight, which was granted because they were both traveling to regionals that gave them some conflicts, and they were not going to be able to be included in this broadcast. So that match you're going to have to watch separately, but fortunately we know that the winner will receive the 1 seed and the loser will receive the 3 seed, and it won't affect anything else. So without any further ado, we're going to get right into the last match of the broadcast to figure out who gets that last playoff spot and who gets that last bye spot. So we are hopping into the last match where it is going to be Matt versus ksniterider. If Matt wins a single game, he will lock up the 4 seed, but if he gets 2-0'd, it's all going to come down to differential. ksniterider, on the other hand, needs to win the match to get a playoff spot. If he loses the match, he is out of the playoffs. But with a dominant enough 2-0 win, plus 5 differential or greater, he will actually lock up a bye spot, so there is a wide range of outcomes for him in this match. Looking at Matt's side, we see the Copa Berry Rillaboom, a Weakness Policy Rotom Frost, along with Focus Sash Aerodactyl, Grassy Seed, so it's going to be an Unburdened Purloin set, Choice Scarf Heatran, and Life Orb Inteleon. We've got some standard sets and also a couple of weirder ones. That Grassy Seed Purloin really stands out. Looking at ksniterider's side, we do see the Salazzle, Uxie, Magnezone, Suicune, Dragapult, and Mudsail. 3 of his Pokemon do have access to Ally Switch, so we'll see if that happens this match. The Dragapult in particular looks decent into Matt's team, although I'd be really worried about that Rotom Frost if it comes, and yes, it does look like it's going to be coming in the back here. And the Magnezone doesn't look too bad either, but the Heatran does give me some pause there, and assuming the Rillaboom also has high horsepower, there's definitely going to be some ways to threaten it. Having 2 quad ground weaknesses on the same team means that Matt's probably going to be having some ground coverage as well. But let's go ahead and hop on into this battle. So in Game 1, we see Salazzle and Uxie coming out for ksniterider up against a Rillaboom Purloin lead. The Salazzle is usually going to have the fastest fake out on the field here of the 3, but the Unburdened Purloin, assuming it is Unburdened, is actually going to have a faster fake out, which is a very interesting tech, if that fast fake out is important here. And we see that the Rillaboom isn't even packing fake out, and he will just be going for that high horsepower into the Salazzle. This might just be a clean double up. He does go for the clean double up into the Salazzle. Ally Switch here would be a huge move, as the Salazzle will then be able to get an attack off into that Rillaboom, assuming that he knows that this Purloin is going to be faster than the Salazzle now. But no, the Salazzle just eats a fake out, gets flinched, and it's going to go down to this high horsepower. Good start for Matt, picks up a clean KO. But Uxie is able to set Trick Room, which is probably what he was going for. That's a sacrifice you take, and because the Salazzle is going to be too fast into Trick Room anyway, this looks like it's going to be a clean switch, and I don't think it's going to be the Mudstail, though. It's probably... It could be the Mudstail, but no, it's the Magnezone. So, even with the high horsepower, he's going to switch in this Magnezone, and we don't see an air balloon on it, so I can assume that it is a ground resist berry or a Focus Sash. High horsepower makes a lot of sense, but again, we're in the Ally Switch Mind Games shenanigans. Perhaps knockoff is a better play if you want to assume a ground berry and a max. And then you can also hit the Uxie if it does Ally Switch into that slot. I'll protect to try and see if he goes for the Ally Switch is smart as well. But he is just going to be going for that high horsepower. And does he go for the Screech? Or he goes for the Thunder Wave into Uxie. And Ally Switch would be awful here. We do see the Max coming out, we can assume for the Magnezone, especially in that Pokeball. The leather jacket on the Avatar looking classy. And we do have Max Magnezone on the field. Will there be an Ally Switch this turn? Yes, there is an Ally Switch. Oh, this is going to be an awesome turn for ksniterider. Matt almost gets completely blanked here. And we see that the Magnezone is going to have speed advantage under Trick Room. He's just going to take out the Purloin immediately. And then this high horsepower is not going to be going into the Magnezone, it will be going into the Uxie. That is the downside of Unburden instead of Prankster, and it doesn't affect the Uxie because of the Levitate. What an awesome turn for ksniterider, and he looks like he's in the driver's seat this game, but Matt can get his Heatran in pretty freely here, which is going to be threatening a lot of the field. Rotom is also an option, but with that Max Steel Spike, I'm not sure if I would be comfortable taking that damage if I'm in Max position. But we see that there's not a Ground-type move on this Heatran. He opted not to carry the Earth Power. Will he actually be going for this Rotom play with Max Darkness, or will he be going for this Heatran and maxing the Rillaboom? Because Max Rillaboom seems like the only option here. Heatran comes on in. Now, is he going to call another turn of... Oh, he's going for the double switch. Alright, that makes a lot of sense because you're not going to be targeting a Steel-type move into that slot. And this way he doesn't have to try and call another Ally Switch turn, and he can waste a turn of Max and of Trick Room. This is a nice double switch from Matt with the Protect. Will there be another Ally Switch on the field, or will Uxie be going for another move? We see the Protect come out of Rillaboom. And a Steel Spike come on out. Does this target the Rillaboom slot? It does. This is not going to be doing much through Protect. Uxie will get some bonus defense, as will the Magnezone. It's not +2 defense. I don't know if a high horsepower takes it out, even without the ground resist berry. And we get Calm Mind set up. I feel like that is as well as that turn could have gone for ksniterider, given the double switch on Matt's end. Now this Rotom is going to be threatened by this Magnezone, and he has to potentially go for a triple switch. Maxing Rillaboom seems like the only option here, and then you have to decide whether you are going for a Max Darkness or a Max Quake, and into what slots. Matt is hovering Max Quake, but Max Darkness seems safer if you don't know if there's going to be an Ally Switch or not. Is he going to go for the Darkness into the Uxie? He does go for the Darkness into the Uxie. And is he going to Protect and try to get a Weakness Policy trigger on the Rotom? He would have to go for a double Protect for this thing to survive long enough. It looks like he's going for the Weakness Policy trigger and hoping to pull off a double Protect to stall out Trick Room. The Rillaboom maxes, and it is the Gigantamax form of Rillaboom. Rotom goes for the Protect, and do we see another Ally Switch come out? No Ally Switch comes out, so the Steel Spike is going to go into the Rillaboom again. It does not go into the Rotom. That deals a substantial amount of damage. Can Uxie take it out from this range? And at +3 defense, how much is this Rillaboom going to be doing to this Uxie? Uxie just gets up another Calm Mind. It is now at +3 defense and +2 special defense. Max Darkness comes on out and does a pittance to the Uxie. This thing is just too bulky at this point. Outside of Trick Room, he's going to need to go for some crits potentially onto this Uxie. Especially with the Leftovers set and the Leftovers healing on the setup Uxie with Max Steel Spike boosts. It's the last turn of Trick Room. A Max Guard makes a lot of sense here, and maybe even switching this Rotom into Heatran. Yes, he will be switching back. This is a huge potential turn. If he can call this switch correctly and deal some damage into the Heatran, in the last turn of Trick Room, ksniterider will take a firm lead, and he does. He goes for the body plus at +3 defense. It's a clean one-shot onto that Heatran. Even though Trick Room is ending, he is in a commanding position at this point, and we do see that the Uxie has access to stored power at +1 special attack, along with Alright, +2 special attack, along with a total of 6 boosts. That's going to be a base power 120. That is going to be enough to take out basically anything, and it's going to be so hard to kill. ksniterider is looking in good position to potentially clean this game up. So the Max Quake is going to come on out. I don't know if he can target down the Magnezone here, but Matt is also playing a differential game at this point. A differential flinch game. Is there going to be an ally switch, or is there going to be a stored power? Body press alone is probably enough to take out this Rotom. This is a absolutely awesome start for ksniterider. Will just need to win one more game after this, assuming he is able to hang on. And if he maintains this 3-0 differential, he will only need a 2-0 or better to actually secure the bye in the next, if he wins a 2-0. The Max Quake comes on out. It will go into the Magnezone, but at +3 defense, it cannot take it down. The Rillaboom and the Rotom will gain some special defense, but is it going to be enough? The Uxie flinches, that's step one, but Body Press comes on out into the Rillaboom, and it doesn't take it out. Alright, so there is a window for Matt here, if he can keep playing this flinch game. ksniterider also really needs to work on preserving this differential for a shot at the bye. Knockoff is going to be targeted into Uxie. And Dark Pulse into Magnezone, I don't know if that will be enough to take it out. Will that be enough to take either of these things out? I don't believe so, and this could... It might take out the Magnezone. If it does, this will be a 2-0 win instead of a 3-0 win, which would be a huge difference moving into Game 2. Really thinking over his turn, it makes a lot of sense. These are the most important turns of his season to this point. Dark Pulse comes on out, and the Magnezone does go down. And the Rillaboom hits the Uxie, does not take it down. Leftovers are gone. Stored power will take out one of these two Pokemon, and it takes out the Rotom. No! The Rotom survives. Is Matt still in this with 20 or so cumulative HP? No, he's not. This is a Dragon Bolt. If this thing has Dragon Darts, this is over. With 15 total HP, though, it is about as close as he could want, given the positioning. Dragon Darts will end this game. If you're operating under the assumption that it doesn't have Dragon Darts, I'm not sure I completely agree with this play. I'd probably go for the Dark Pulse into the Uxie, but... yeah, Dragon Darts will clean up this game, and it's going to be a 2-0 for ksniterider, so he will need a 3-0 or better to secure the bye, otherwise he'll end up in a tie with El Flamingo. I do not know if they've played this season, and then I'd have to check those tiebreakers as well. I don't actually know off the top of my head. This is very exciting. But we'll just let this Rillaboom go down here. Go for one last knockoff or high horsepower. Maybe try to figure out this Dragon Pulse item, but the Dragon Pulse will clean it up with the Dragon Darts. So what an exciting Game 1, and ksniterider is one game away from making playoffs and eliminating Sakimoto. Matt will need to pick up Game 2 if he wants to maintain his playoff position based on the differential of this. If he loses, he will actually have to play a first-round game instead of having a bye. Let's take a look and figure out what tools Matt might actually have to deal with that Uxie and Magnezone combo, as that did a number on his team, and the Heatran doesn't have access to a Ground-type move. If Trick Room goes up, the Purloin is going to be fairly useless in this game. He may, if that's a similar lead, he may need to go into the Uxie with the Purloin and target down the Salazzle with the Rillaboom. He's still going to be going with the same 4. So he feels confident in his plan. He's just going to be adjusting his play, likely to really go after that Uxie, I would imagine. He's hovering the lock button. He's considering switching probably if I had to guess, the Aerodactyl, but Aerodactyl and Teleon don't line up any better into Magnezone than anything else on his team does. He's locked in, and ksniterider is still thinking it over. Game 1 went effectively, but he knows if he wants a shot at the bye, he will actually need to win this game 2 as well, not just the set. So does he switch it up here, or does he run back the same 4? And we don't know what the Dragapult's item is, which is going to be a potentially huge deal. And we have, in what is potentially the last regular season game in the PDPL season, outside of Tay versus Snoot, Dragapult and Uxie as the lead. Against Rillaboom and Purloin. Purloin is going to be faster than this Dragapult. I wouldn't be shocked to see a Thunder Wave come out there and potentially a knockoff into the Uxie. Actually, I don't know. Is Purloin going to be faster than the Dragapult? Its base speed is 66, and I believe an Arctivish at base speed 55 is able to outspeed it at +2. So yes, this Purloin will be faster than the Dragapult. A Max Darkness immediately into the Dragapult. That's going to be a bold call out from Matt. But it does cover for a potential ally switch as well. And is he just going to double up with Foul Play plus Max Darkness into that slot to just go for a KO? Or is he going to be going for a Thunder Wave play? Or even a Screech play. There are a lot of options here. But he's just going for the clean double up into the Dragapult slot. And we do see that the Rillaboom is maxing first, so it does not look like this Dragapult is maxing. So if this Dragapult stays in and doesn't protect, it is absolutely going down this turn. The Foul Play comes on out. Dragapult just absolutely eats it. Dragapult goes down. ksniterider cannot lose another Pokemon. Uxie barely survives. Trick Room gets set. He lost 2 Pokemon last game, right? Yes, the Salazzle went down, and the something else went down. Magnezone, I think, eventually went down. Yes, okay. So he has lost 3 total Pokemon. If he wins this game right now from this position, it will be a +3. But he's also not in the best position, even with Trick Room up. This Magnezone has no buffs. A call out into that Magnezone slot. This Screech is actually going to be a great play, I think. Although it will be slower under Trick Room than this Rillaboom. But this will prevent any setup from going on in that slot. Uxie just switches out. Mudsdale comes on in. And the Magnezone is maxing. Magnezone should be able to take out Purloin here before it does anything, if it so chooses, which will leave it and Mudsdale at +1 defense. And the Max Steel Spike comes on out into this Purloin. It should go down here, and it does. Magnezone and Mudsdale are now going to be incredibly physically bulky in face of a Gigantamax Rillaboom. This Rillaboom can probably still, under grassy terrain, threaten this Mudsdale, but a Max Darkness coming out is going to also trigger its stamina boost. Magnezone's special defense falls, as does Mudsdale's. The stamina boost is triggered, so Mudsdale is now sitting at +2 defense. I don't know if a Max Overgrowth, even in terrain, takes it out from +2. It might. It probably does off of a Rillaboom, but that's going to be a lot closer than Matt's going to be comfortable with. And in front of this Mudsdale plus Magnezone Core, does he send out the Rotom or does he send out the Heatran? Neither look like they're in a great position. And if this Mudsdale has access to Body Press, they can just sweep through this side of the board while the Magnezone chips down the Rillaboom. He will try to take it out with the G-Max Drum Solo. This is his only play, and if this doesn't KO, then this match is as good as won. This Protect will have to come off for the Rotom. And if this Mudsdale calls out with a Protect here or a Switch, that would be a huge play, but I don't think that's likely the case. A double up into Rillaboom could happen here. A double up into Rillaboom would be a massive read that would inch ksniterider closer to locking a playoff spot and the bye. The Rotom goes for the Protect. The Steel Spike comes on out into the Rillaboom. It does just under half. We have a +3 defense Mudsdale on the field now, and it goes for the Body Press, a double up into Rillaboom. It doesn't KO, but this G-Max Drum Solo at +3 with a Rindo Berry. Not even close with the Rindo Berry. It might have even survived without it. And now we have a +4 Mudsdale, and Magnezone can freely target into the Rillaboom slot. That Rindo Berry is huge for Mudsdale. Matt will need... Oh wait, no, Matt is back to out of Gigantamax, so he has Grassy Glide pressure again. Grassy Glide, without the Rindo Berry, might be enough to pick up this KO. I think that's going to end up being Matt's best play, is going for that Grassy Glide into the Mudsdale, but a Protect on Mudsdale would be devastating for him. He could also switch out the Rillaboom, try to regain terrain later, but in that case he's just going to be sacrificing Heatran, and Grassy Terrain will not reset before the Rillaboom comes back out, assuming a Body Press gets targeted into that slot. A Steel Spike into the Rotom and a Body Press into the Rillaboom slot seems like a really clean play for ksniterider if this Mudsdale is able to survive a Grassy Glide. Rotom goes for the double but fails. Grassy Glide comes out. Is it going to be enough to pick up this Mudsdale? No, Mudsdale survives. And it goes up to +5. Nothing is surviving right now. Steel Spike comes on out. And it's going to take out the Rillaboom, and then a Body Press is going to take out the Rotom. ksniterider is looking to punch his ticket to the playoffs, and maybe even that 4th seed. Body Press comes on out. It takes out the Rotom. All that's left is a Heatran. Heatran, we know, is Choice Scarf. And I believe there's one more turn of Trick Room left, so that should just about do it. And with a +5 overall differential, ksniterider will get exactly what he needs. I believe there's one more turn of Trick Room left. Yeah, so with a +5 differential, ksniterider will get exactly what he needs to secure that 4 seed as well, I believe. I'll be double checking after this match because I'm commentating it live. But I believe that that is the case. He will move to 1 Pokemon differential better than El Flamingo, who is going to be sitting at, well, they're going to be sitting at the same game differential. So going to the second tiebreak for that spot. But we just assume that this Heatran goes down to a Body Press here. I guess it is still possible to throw this differential. That is exactly what he needs. But let's see how these last couple turns play out. So I believe this should be the last turn of the game. Magnezone comes back. Uxie comes on out. He's doing his best to preserve some differential in case this Body Press doesn't take it out, but we know at +5 that this thing does not have a Resist Berry or a Focus Sash, and the Heatran will go down. And that will be a 2-0 +5 win for ksniterider, and I believe that will lock him into the 4 slot. It'll give him a playoff spot and eliminate Sakimoto's from playoffs. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be right back with a recap. And so, at the end of it all, we have our playoff set. Sakimoto is eliminated as the 9th seed with a differential that is just going to be slightly worse than Solanor in the 8th seed. ksniterider's win against Matt was just impressive enough to pump him above El Flamingo into the 4th seed. And so our first round matchups are going to be El Flamingo versus Solanor and Dan versus Matt. The winner of Dan and Matt will take on the loser of Tay and Snoot, which will be played later tonight, whereas the winner of El Flamingo and Solanor will be taking on ksniterider. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this PDPL Week 11 live stream. I hope that it lived up to everyone's expectations, even if a few of the edits were rough here and there. But if you guys enjoyed this type of content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And tune into the channel and the PDPL, which will be linked in the Discord server will be linked in the description below. We look forward to having you guys watch as we move into the playoffs, and hopefully it's just as exciting as this week was. Thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.